Crime rates are becoming increasingly high, leaving us all to wonder to what extent are we safe. Recent news says that a man robbed more than 40 McDonald's restaurants and successfully escaped prison. Let's look into the details. Meet Jeffrey Allen Manchester, famously known as the Roof Man, a cunning and notorious thief who targeted more than 40 McDonald's restaurants across different states. His unique approach involved gaining entry through the roof, earning him his notorious nickname. The fascinating chronicle of Jeffrey Allen Manchester takes us deep into the account of his clever scheme to avoid capture after his iconic prison breakout. A fresh chapter in his criminal escapades began with his last heist. The Roofman's approach was both daring and precise. He earned his name by gaining entry into McDonald's restaurants through their roofs. He successfully navigated unnoticed by utilizing his knowledge of the layout of the premises. From the beginning, he had the advantage thanks to this inside information. The fact that he managed to rob 40 McDonald's and escaped in a legendary fashion ensures that he was unlike any other criminal. What set Jeffrey apart from typical criminals was his behavior during robberies. Known for his friendly and peaceful nature, he was unlike the cruel and ominous criminals commonly seen in the media. His approach was almost disarming. His calm demeanor aided in maintaining a comfortable environment for employees, minimizing the chances of facing resistance during his heists. In addition, his aptitude for executing secret operations at various McDonald's branches presented a difficulty for authorities to identify his whereabouts. His downfall was ultimately caused by his arrogance. His craft became sharper after each successful heist. His thoughtfully planned and flawlessly executed escapades left the investigators struggling to keep up. Unfortunately, Jeffrey's remarkable winning streak ended abruptly, as if predetermined by destiny. On May 20th, 2002, around 5:30, at one of the McDonald's branches in Belmont, North Carolina, the employees were preparing for the next day. Suddenly, a man armed with a rifle came inside and calmly asked them to stay in their places. He had emerged from a hole in the roof rather than the door. He took the manager inside the restaurant to open the safe. Here he made a serious error during robberies due to a critical oversight. Jeffrey did not secure the employees in the cooling room on that decisive night. This was a tactic he had employed before to contain them during his heists. But this time, he refrained from doing that. Seizing the chance, the employees freely moved and managed to escape, informing the authorities. The Roofman's criminal career changed course due to this significant error. Law enforcement was able to narrow down their search and eventually apprehend the person because of the provided break. In quick succession following the careless robbery, Jeffrey was met with the full brunt of the legal system. Escape seemed unlikely, given the abundant evidence obtained throughout his criminal activities. Following the incident, he was apprehended and faced charges for numerous acts of robbery, burglary, and several other related crimes. The once elusive and mysterious Roofman was now in custody, facing the consequences of his actions. Once seen as an intriguing thief, the public now viewed him from a different angle, a criminal brought to justice. Jeffrey's life was different before he became the Roofman. In the military, he encountered challenges and adversities, making him a former soldier. After his eventual demotion, he got disappointed, and that probably played a role in his choice to pursue a criminal lifestyle. Jeffrey received an astonishing prison sentence of 45 years upon being captured. To our surprise, he quickly adapted to the restricted surroundings and became a commendable prisoner at Brown Creek Prison. The prison staff and fellow inmates trusted him due to his good behavior. Nevertheless, Jeffrey's shrewd mentality was resistant to spending his life confined in jail. He began meticulously planning his escape, analyzing every aspect of the prison and its routines. He worked his way into the prison workshop where he could utilize a range of tools and equipment to support his plan for escaping. The workshop often received a visit from a truck that caught his attention one day. This truck presented the perfect escape vehicle. The iron support bars underneath the truck were carefully measured by Jeffrey. He developed a scheme to fashion a wooden panel that he could stay hidden beneath. To evade detection, he took great care to paint the panel black and devised cardboard covers to camouflage it with the underside of the truck. The moment of his escape arrived, filling Jeffrey's heart with excitement. He positioned himself beneath the truck skillfully during a regular inspection while hiding behind the wooden panel. Jeffrey took advantage of the opportunity as the guards completed their inspection and the truck left the prison. With utmost stealth, he made a risky leap off the moving truck, all in the hopes of achieving freedom. His escape was the first successful prison break from Brown Creek Prison, The facility and law enforcement agencies were shaken by this incident. Near the prison, Jeffrey uncovered a sanctuary within a toy store. He remained concealed behind a wooden display, patiently awaiting the perfect moment. He only used to go out during nighttime to remain hidden from the law. To go unnoticed, he ingeniously survived by feasting on the food primarily sold for children in the store. Jeffrey began a calculated shopping spree, gathering vital provisions and studying the surveillance cameras and employee timetables. Equipped with this awareness, he carefully strategized his departures, ensuring he could once again avoid being captured. As the end of the year approached, Jeffrey realized that the store would become crowded with holiday shoppers. Given this circumstance, he determined to find a fresh location for hiding. He was directed by destiny to a nearby deserted electronics store known as Circuit City. He successfully constructed a covert passage between the two stores by carefully carving an opening in the wall. The perfect hiding spot was uncovered by him under the staircase in Circuit City. Jeffrey brilliantly converted this hidden space into his private sanctuary. He had a talent for electrical work, enabling him to establish electricity in his secret location. He created an improvised sleeping arrangement for more comfort at night. Moreover, he placed surveillance cameras to maintain vigilant monitoring of his surroundings. With time, Jeffrey's confidence increased, leading him to explore public spaces with the name of John Zara. Survival alone could not satisfy Jeffrey's longing for a luxurious life. He formulated one last extravagant strategy, plundering the Toys R Us store he had been secretly staying at. With a strong resolution to make the heist successful, he managed to procure 4 handguns from a local gun shop. Preparing for what lay ahead, he armed himself for the daring act. Jeffrey stormed into the Toys R Us store in November 2004 while wearing a mask and wielding stolen handguns, and demanded access to the safe. All appeared to be going according to plan until a vigilant employee spotted the firearm and successfully fled the premises. He promptly notified the police, guaranteeing the safety of all parties. Despite Jeffrey's successful escape from authorities, his fingerprints were obtained as valuable evidence. The police initiated an extensive search after his identity was exposed, sharing his photograph across the entire town. His escape became more complicated when even the church attendees identified him. The pressure intensified when the police confronted Jeffrey's girlfriend. With the situation weighing heavily on her, she determined to work alongside the authorities. After his daring prison escape and a brief taste of freedom, Jeffrey Allen Manchester, the roofman, returned home. A mix of emotions was swirling inside him. The rush of adrenaline and uncertainty flooded his heart as he stepped back into familiar surroundings. He soon discovered that his freedom wasn't going to last long. Jeffrey was filled with disappointment when he found that he was enclosed by the blinking lights of police vehicles and the serious expressions of law enforcement officials. A feeling of unease and apprehension filled the air, leaving him unable to ignore it. The stark realization of being caught took over, replacing the initial excitement of his successful getaway. He saw in that instant that his time as the roofman had concluded bitterly and irreversibly. In the face of the encroaching police, Jeffrey's thoughts raced, desperately seeking an escape from this bleak predicament. With limited choices available, he had no alternative but to give in peacefully. His eyes displayed a sense of acceptance, as though he had expected this result from the beginning. Handcuffed by the police, Jeffrey locked eyes with his girlfriend in a powerful moment. She was the woman he loved, and involving her in his life of crime made him realize the pain he had caused her, which filled him with remorse and regret. Still, he understood that it was impossible to rectify the negative effects at this point. He apologized sadly with a heavy heart, his voice filled with sorrow, and expressed his love for her. But the consequences were irreparable, and she couldn't bring herself to pardon the choices he had made, nor the risks he had taken with their future. The court did not treat Jeffrey's audacious prison escape lightly. The legal implications were much harsher this time than his initial sentence. The judge gave a more severe sentence of 47 years in prison due to his bold but unlawful creativity. The prospect of being imprisoned for nearly 5 decades loomed over Jeffrey, casting a gloomy veil over his life. The stark reminder of the consequences came from his criminal actions. Jeffrey's attempt to find freedom and a life beyond prison walls appeared to have only resulted in him becoming even more entangled with the law. The reality that true freedom could never be achieved through criminal activities had been concealed from him by his desperation to escape from the constraints of jail. Subscribe to this channel for more interesting crime stories. The cautionary tale of the Roofman reminds us that a life of crime may have its thrilling and adventurous moments. Ultimately, it is accompanied by a high cost. As a proficient thief and audacious escape artist, Jeffrey Allen Manchester's legacy endures. The actions he took have forever shaped his life into one of imprisonment, remembering that following a path of righteousness and integrity is much more beneficial than giving in to the allure of criminality is extremely important. Mind-blowing crimes revealed. Click now for his story, and we will catch you there in a second.